What's on, ladies and gentlemen? My name's Ross, I like games, and today, well, the official FAQ for BT5 Battle of Omega has come out. It is out there, and just like the last few FAQs, we have got a translation from the lovely folks over at game-academia.com. So what we're going to do today is what we've done for all of the sets so far. We're going to have a look through the FAQ, we're going to take a look at the rulings, we're going to explain what needs explaining, and hopefully we're all going to leave a little bit smarter than we came in. So let's start off then having a little bit of a look at Pikmon. Now, Pikmon's quite a popular yellow Digimon. It's seen playing a bunch of decks already. When attacking, if you have 3 or more Digimon, one of your opponent's Digimon loses 1,000 power for the turn. Does this card's evolution source effect also include the Digimon with this card in its evolution source? Yes, it does. And the key here is it says 3 Digimon, not 3 other Digimon. So yes, it is free, including itself. Speaking of Digitarmon, we've got Gigimon here. It's got an inheritable skill that says once during your turn when another of your Digimon is deleted, this Digimon gains 2,000 power for the turn. Okay. Well, my Digimon with this card in its evolution source and another of my Digimon is put down to 0 power at the same time by one of my opponent's effects. At that point in time, can I save myself because the extra 2,000 power gets given to me, so I then don't get deleted? The answer is no, because essentially both the Digimon are deleted at the same time, so the evolution source cannot activate to give you the extra 2,000 power and save you, because at that stage you've essentially already been deleted. Now, the new Agumon here has got a nice play skill. Lets you look at the top 3 cards of your deck, grab a Greymon and an Omnimon and put them into your hand. If I do not reveal a card with Greymon and a card with Omegamon in its name, does that mean I can't have them? Nah, we've seen rulings like this before. It's do as much as you can. You can have both if you find both, but if you only find someone with Greymon or you only find one with Omnimon, that is fine. You can just grab that one and then not have the other part. That is absolutely fine. Now, Gaussmon here, on your turn, your other Gaussmon will get an extra 3,000 power. And on your opponent's turn, your opponent cannot reduce Digivolution costs. What does it mean, cannot reduce Digivolution costs? It means that an effect that nullifies the effect that reduces the cost to evolve, such as Digisorption, for instance, or Hidden Potential Uncovered, even if your opponent activates the effects, they do not reduce the cost of Digivolving. They have still got to go ahead and pay what they would usually pay. Anything that would allow them to Digivolve a little bit more cheaply just fails, basically, and they can't use it, which is kind of funny for you, not for your opponent. When my opponent has this card in play, can I use Digisorption of a card in my hand to reduce the evolution cost? No, because that would be reducing evolution cost, which you're not allowed to do. When my opponent has a card like Bezelmon that lets you Digivolve straight from an Impmon into it, ignoring its evolution cost, can I use that? Or is it also stopped? And the answer is, you can. You see, cards like Bezelmon, they don't reduce the evolution cost. They give another way to evolve. It doesn't reduce the evolution cost, it essentially replaces it with something different. And because you're not reducing the evolution cost, it will work quite nicely. Now, Shoutmon here comes along with a rather nice skill. When you play it, you reveal the top 5 cards of your deck, grab a Digimon with Shoutmon and a Digimon with Advance, and put them in your hand. Also an inheritable skill whereby if you've got Advance, you get an extra 2,000 power. Okay, well, if I don't reveal both a card with Shoutmon and a card with Advance, does that mean I don't get the cards? Same ruling as above. You do as much as you can. If you get one, you grab one. If you get both, you grab both. If I reveal 2 Shoutmon DX, Can I add them both to my hand? Yes, you can. One of them will count as your Digimon with Shoutmon in its name, and the other one will count as your Digimon with Advance. So you are adding them both to your hand, but you're not saying, oh, well, I've got 2 Shoutmon, that'll do. You're still grabbing a Digimon with Shoutmon and a Digimon with Advance. Now, OmegaShoutmon comes along here. Your Shoutmon can Digivolve into this card in your hand for a memory cost of 4, ignoring any Digivolution requirements. And on your turn, if your Digimon's got Advanced, you get Security Attack +1. Can I evolve Shoutmon in my raising area into this card? Say it with me, ladies and gentlemen. Digimon in the raising area have no skills and cannot be affected by skills. So no, you can't. Okay, so if you've got Advanced, you gain Security Attack +1. If I'm attacking normally, i.e. not using Advance, does that mean I lose Security Attack +1? No, they're separate things. If you have Advance, you always have Security Attack +1, whether you are attacking using Advance or using something else. The weirdly named Dorbikmon. When you're attacking, you may trash 1 red Digimon card in your hand and add the trashed card's power to this Digimon for the turn. Okay, so if I trash a 3000 power red Digimon from my hand, and on the same turn this Digimon is able to make a second attack, and during that attack I trash a Digimon, red Digimon with 1000 power from my hand, do I now get the +4000? Or do I only get the +1000 from the second skill? No, you get them both. And the reason is Dorbikmon's skill works for the turn. So if you can attack multiple times, you can use this skill multiple times, and every time you use it, it works for the turn. So if you can keep attacking, you can keep piling on. This card got a whole bunch better. Now, Shoutmon DX has gone and given us a bunch of rulings, as we might expect it would. When you Digivolve, you have Advance. And when you Digivolve, you may place a red Digimon card from your hand to the top of this Digimon's Digivolution cards. And then for every OmegaShoutmon or Zege in your Digivolution cards, you get to delete one of your opponent's Digimon with 5000 power or less. And of course, remember, it can Digivolve from a level 5 or a level 6. When I evolve a level 5 Digimon into this, can I put a level 4 or below card down into the Digivolution cards? Or can I put a level 7 Digimon card from my hand to the top of the evolution cards? And the answer is yes. It says red Digimon card. Any red Digimon card will do. If I use this Digimon's when evolving effect to put a level 3 Digimon card on the top of its evolution cards, and then my opponent de-Digivolves 1, i.e. trashes the Shoutmon DX from the top of this particular stack of Digimon, what happens? Well, exactly what you would imagine. It becomes that level 3 Digimon at the top of your cards, but it has all of the evolution cards that Shoutmon had underneath this, which would look weird, but it kind of makes a lot of sense. If I use this Digimon skill to put a level 3 Digimon card on the top of its evolution sources, and this Digimon receives the effect of de-Digivolve 2, how do I resolve this? Well, exactly as you usually would. This card, as in Shoutmon, is discarded due to de-Digivolve, and then it becomes a level 3. However, every card with de-Digivolve on says very clearly on the card, if this Digimon has no Digivolution cards or becomes a level 3 Digimon, you can't trash any more cards. Now, clearly that was written with the knowledge that underneath a level 3 would be a level 2, and you can't leave a level 2 on the field. But it doesn't say if it would become a level 2. It says if it is a level 3. So as soon as you've got a level 3 and your opponent tries to de-Digivolve, de-Digivolve fails. Even if you've got 20 evolution cards underneath it, de-Digivolve does not work on level 3 Digimon. Since this card has 2 when evolving effects, if I choose to resolve Advance first, does that mean I resolve the other evolving effect after the attack from Advance ends? No. If you choose to resolve Advance first, then you have to suspend the Digimon, declare the attack, and the actual attack will only happen after all of the when evolving effects have finished resolving, i.e. you do not attack and then look for any other Digivolving effects. You rest it, get ready for attacking, then you do the Digivolving effects, then the attack actually happens. And finally, I told you this one had a bunch of rulings with it. If I use this card's when evolving effect to put a Gigimon from my hand to the top of its evolution sources and then advance, does Gigimon's evolution source then essentially kick in and allow me to attack an unsuspended Digimon with my advance attack? Well, yeah, of course it does. Because you put the evolution card down, then you go to attack, and then when you go to attack, you're like, oh, I've got a Gigimon, I can attack an unsuspended Digimon. Whew. And those are the Shoutmon DX rulings. Now, moving over to Gabumon here, we've got the same kind of thing we've seen before. It lets you grab a Garurumon and an Omnimon into your hand. Like we've said a couple of times, if you only find one, you only get one. That is fine. Sakuyamon here has got a rather nice skill that your opponent cannot reduce Digivolution costs. Having said that, we've already talked about these rulings before, so let's skip ahead to Bluemon. Now, Bluemon comes in here as the first Bluemon we've ever actually seen, incidentally. I think that's true. And once during your turn, as an evolution effect, you may trash a Digivolution card from one of your opponent's Digimon to gain 1 memory. Okay. If there's a card that returns Digimon to my opponent's hand, we all know that when that happens, Digivolution cards are trashed. That always happens when a card is returned to hand. The evolution cards are trashed. Do I get +1 memory? No. Because it's not really an effect that trashes Digivolution cards. It's an effect that puts the Digimon to hand. Oh yeah, and the evolution cards are trashed. So it doesn't count. It's got to be an effect that actually trashes Digivolution cards as the effect. If, however, I play something like a Shademon and I trash 2 of my opponent's evolution cards in one go, does that mean that I actually then get to gain 2 memory? No. It is, if evolution cards are trashed, gain a memory, not gain 1 for each one trashed. Now, Neptunemon is another Digimon that went and made its debut in this particular set. It's got a skill that says, on your opponent's turn, it cannot be attacked. Okay, so what if you've done something to give it blocker? What happens then? Well, exactly what you would imagine. You can use it to block. No, you cannot give it blocker and then essentially block, ha ha ha, you can't attack me. No. The skill stops it being attacked, or I suppose stops it being chosen by your opponent as a target of an attack. If you choose to activate blocker on this Digimon, then yes, obviously it can be attacked in that way. If I use Chaosmon's when evolving effect, can I choose this Digimon as the target of the attack? No, of course you can't, because that would be choosing to attack Neptunemon. And as we've seen quite a few times at this stage, you blatantly can't do that. That's not the way it works, ladies and gentlemen. That's just not the way it works. Sorry about that. And if this Digimon is active and my opponent's Blastmon attacks, can I change the attack target to this Digimon? Blastmon basically lets you redirect any attack from Blastmon to one of your Digimon of your choosing. Yeah, of course you can. It's just like we saw with blocker. Your opponent isn't choosing to attack you. You are throwing this Digimon into the line of fire, which is a very, very different thing and absolutely something you're allowed to do. Having said that, If this is a Digimon that you like, maybe don't throw it in front of your opponent's powerful Digimon. That might not be the most sensible thing to do. Moving on then, we've got Hexblaumon. Now Hexblaumon comes in. When you attack, you trash the bottom 2 Digivolution cards from one of your opponent's Digimon. And then if your opponent has any Digimon with no Digivolution cards, you get jamming. Won't be destroyed by security cards. And on both players' turns, all of your opponent's Digimon without a Digivolution card can neither attack nor block. So if my opponent has no Digimon with no evolution sources, but when I attack with this Digimon and its effect discards my opponent's evolution sources, resulting in my opponent now having a Digimon with no evolution cards, do I now get jamming? Yes. Because essentially, first you trash the Digivolution cards, then you check to see if there's any with no Digivolution cards. There are. You get jamming. My opponent has this Digimon in play, and my Digimon with security attack +1 attacks my opponent's player, and a security check reveals Nail Crusher. Nail Crusher, of course, being one of those rather annoying cards that can come out as a security card and get rid of some of your evolution sources. And it's a pretty extreme one. It trashes all Digivolution cards under all of your opponent's Digimon. So, if that happens, does that mean the attack is interrupted and now ends? And the answer is no. The attack has already started, so the attack will be resolved, and at the end of the attack, yeah, fine, they can't attack anymore, but not until we resolve the attack properly. This Digimon with security attack +1 attacks my opponent's player, and a Digimon is played via a security effect. Since there is now a Digimon with no evolution sources in my opponent's battle area, does my second attack get jamming? No. It's exactly like we said all the way along. When you're attacking, you discard the evolution cards, then you look to see, are there any Digimon with no evolution cards? By the time you're halfway through the attack and a card like Agumon actually hits the field, it's too late. We have already decided that you don't get jamming. Gutted, basically. Now, Cutemon comes along here, and Cutemon is cute by name, cute by nature. It's got that skill that says your opponent can't reduce Digivolution costs. We've seen these rulings. We'll move on. Starmons is a ridiculous card that's already seen a whole bunch of play in a whole bunch of decks. And when you play it, one of your opponent's Digimon loses 1000 power for the turn for each Digimon that you have in play. Does this include the Digimon itself? Of course it does. Because it says each Digimon you have, not each other Digimon. If I have 2 Digimon, can I choose 2 of my opponent's Digimon to get minus 1000 power each? No. You are choosing one of your opponent's Digimon and giving it minus 1000 for each Digimon you have in play. So essentially, if you've got 6 Digimon in play, you lower 1 Digimon by 6000. After playing this Digimon, I then play another Digimon on the same turn. Does that mean I can then lower my opponent's Digimon by another 1000? No! Of course you can't. The when play skill activates, wait for it, when you play the Digimon. Don't even be cheeky enough to suggest that, thank you very much. Gladamon, when you play, you look at your security stack. You may grab a Digimon with Warrior or Holy Warrior in its type and add it to your hand. If you do, recover 1 from the deck. What does confirm the contents, etc. of this card's effect mean? It means, without showing your opponent, you can look at all the cards in your security, choose one if you want to and put it in your hand. The only thing you have to show your opponent is a security card you add to your hand if you choose to do so. You don't have to give your opponent any other information. What happens when there are no cards in my security that I can add to my hand using this skill? Well, nothing. You put your security back down and you don't recover 1 because you only recover 1 if you pick up a card, but you didn't pick up a card. Gutted. Cutemon here's got an inheritable skill. On your turn, all of your opponent's security Digimon get minus 1000 power. If my opponent's security Digimon revealed ends up with 0 power because of this, is it discarded without a battle happening? No, the battle still happens. It's just very one-sided. If my opponent's security Digimon revealed during security checks that has a security effect becomes 0, like Agumon we mentioned earlier, what happens? Well, exactly what you'd imagine. It's got 0 power, the fight is very one-sided, and then at the end of the fight, you play Agumon. My opponent's security Digimon that has its DP reduced by this card's evolution effect is played via a security effect. Is its power still reduced? No. Its power is reduced when it's a security Digimon. It's no longer a security Digimon. Taomon here's got a rather nice inheritable skill. All of your opponent's security Digimon get minus 1000 power. We've got the same rulings here we had on Kyubimon, so we can move right on to Sakuyamon. I'm probably pronouncing some of these terribly, I apologise. On your opponent's turn, if your opponent's Digimon has moved from the breeding area to the battle area, it gets security attack -3. And all of your opponent's security Digimon get minus 3000 power. Now, 3 of these rulings are the same as we saw on the previous 2, so we're not going to repeat them. But does this card's opponent's turn effect activate even if my opponent moves their Digimon from the breeding area to the battle area in the breeding phase? Yes, it does. Anytime during your opponent's turn, during any phase of their turn, a Digimon is moved from the breeding area to the battle area, this will kick in and give security attack -3. Pabumon's got a nice little skill. On deletion, you place a Pabumon from your trash to the bottom of one of your green Digimon's Digivolution cards. Can I choose to put the destroyed card itself to the bottom? Yes. This Digimon is deleted. Then you look at your trash to put a Pabumon to the bottom of one of your green cards' Digivolution stacks, if you will. Well, you're deleted before you look at the trash, so you're fine. Yeah, that is the only ruling we've got on green Digimon. That makes me a little bit sad. Although maybe green's just so good it doesn't need any rulings, I don't know. Caramon, when you play, reveal the top 5 cards of your deck, add a Digimon with unidentified in its type and 1 Arata Sonata Tamer from among them to your hand. You can guess what the rule is going to be here, right? If I only get 1, does that mean it fails? No, you do as much as you can. Monitamon is one I'm fairly fond of here. When you play, you look at the top card of your deck, and on deletion, reveal 3 cards on the top of your deck, and you may play a Monitamon among them without paying its memory cost. What do you do after looking at the top card of your deck? Nothing. You look at the top card of your deck, you go, oh, that what the top card of my deck is. You can tell your opponent if you want to, but I wouldn't recommend it. And then you move on with your turn. And that's it. Chrysalismon here's got a rather lovely skill. When you Digivolve, you can play an Arata Sonata card for free, as long as there isn't one already in play for you. And on your turn, this Digimon and all of your Digimon that share a name with it, it's an inheritable skill of course, gain Rush. Okay. If a Digimon that has Rush from this card's effect is evolved into a Digimon with a different name, does that mean it no longer can attack this turn? Because Haste or Rush says you can attack the turn you play it. No, you're good. Even if you Digivolve, we've seen in Digimon the general rule that evolving and Digivolving do not get rid of skills. As soon as you play the Digimon, it gets Rush. If you Digivolve it, you've still got Rush. Now, Shademon's kind of a fun one here. It's got a skill whereby, well, it's a security card, so if it comes out as a security, you get to play it for free. But it's also a blocker, but it also cannot attack. Okay. Is a Digimon played by this card's effect also treated as a security Digimon in the battle area? No, we've seen this before. As soon as they hit the field, they are regular Digimon, not security Digimon. What if I lost the security battle with Shademon? Doesn't matter, you still get to play it. And if it was revealed from a check, but the attacking Digimon still has remaining checks, Do I get to play it first, or do the remaining checks finish first? It's played before the remaining checks happen. Essentially, after the battle it's having, it is then played, then the remaining checks happen. Do remember at that stage it will be too late to block. I am sorry. Infermon here, we've got a skill that says your Caramon can digivolve into this card in your hand for 4 cost, ignoring any other digivolution requirements. And when it's deleted, you get to play a Diaboromon token. Hey, can I evolve Caramon into this in the raising area? No! Digimon in the raising area have no skills and cannot be affected by skills. I equalised the volume, but sorry if that sounded weird. What is a token? We've seen this before. It's basically treated like a Diaboromon, and it's awesome, and we should like it. And we're going to finish off this particular video having a look at MetalGarurumon, the last black card, and then we'll do another video tomorrow rounding up the rest of these rulings. But what we've got here with MetalGarurumon is Reboot. It becomes active during your opponent's unsuspend phase. When you Digivolve, you gain Digiburst 2. You may trash 2 Digivolution cards. And delete one of your opponent's Digimon with a play cost of 6 or less. If you don't do that, you trash the top card of your opponent's security. What does this mean? It means that when you use Digiburst, your opponent, if they don't have any 6 cost or below Digimon, ends up losing a security card. Ha! If my opponent has a 6 cost or below Digimon, can I choose not to delete it and trash a security card instead? No. You've got to go after a Digimon. You only get to trash a security card if there is no appropriate Digimon in play. If my opponent has a 6 cost or below Digimon, with the effect, this Digimon cannot be destroyed by opponent's effects, and another Digimon without that effect, when I use this card's Digiburst, can I purposely choose a Digimon that can't be destroyed, and then no one's destroyed, and then I trash the top card of my opponent's security? Yes. And the reason is, the Digimon that cannot be destroyed by effects is a valid target. And this isn't some fanciful thing, right? Craniumon gives all of your Digimon with blocker the skill that they can't be deleted by effects. So any 6 cost or below blocker, if Craniumon is in play, will be protected here. And essentially, you go, well, I'm going to go after your Digimon. Would you believe it? Craniumon has stopped you being deleted. Well, you're still a valid target. Hey, I've not deleted any Digimon, now I get to trash the top card of your security. It's a weird ruling, but I love it. And there we go, ladies and gentlemen. That's the rulings for now. I will be back with a follow-up video so this doesn't get too ridiculously over the top long. For now, I want to know what you think about all of these rulings in the comment section, so go nuts, but be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at the Wossy. That's where we talk Digimon and a bunch of other card games. And please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all kinds of fun things. But by far the most important thing as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching Wossy Plays.